So I just had the pleasure of listening to two men talk about friends with benefits, and it's taking everything I have to not cry and choke up right now, because that was beautiful. And so often, you know, friends with benefits, and whether it's communication is just, you're totally right, it's huge. And I absolutely love when you can have intimacy like with your really good friends. I think it's one of the most beautiful, like, full cycle thing about loving and like sharing and like really getting to be whole. And some of my experiences though, and maybe this is, you know, we all have fears of vulnerability, and but in the past I've felt like that's the only, like, the sex part of the friends with benefit is the only thing that somebody wanted. And it's just made me feel so, like, useless and worthless and, like, I have no value. And, you know, listening to the guys share about actually still wanting to provide more than that is, like, oh, it's just so sweet. It's so sweet. Like there's total tears of joy, but like, that's really so sweet. And, you know, I know also experiences make us feel like if we do need to, you know, one of the things that opened me up the most are being able to talk, or like to go to dinner, or like to hang out, or to watch a movie and like actually spend time, so that like I can open. And when that happens, like, you know, it isn't me falling in love with you. It's me like just getting to know you, which my safety and my comfort allow me to have a more pleasurable sex experience, you know, which, you know, like my pleasure comes first.
So you said something very important there. It just kind of slipped in and out. Safety. Women absolutely have to feel safe. In order for their heart to be open, in order for them to be able to have an orgasm with a man. So just like me, I mean, we can fuck just like any man can. We can go just for the physical, but that doesn't mean we're going to have an orgasm, because an orgasm takes a certain amount of intimacy and the heart space being open. So a friend with benefit, if I'm in my masculine side, you know, I can just go for it. But after a while, that just feels like prostitution. You know, and I'm not saying prostitution is a bad thing, because let me define the difference. There is the sacred provider. There's the sacred sexual intimate, where she brings or he brings heart to it and intimacy to it. And yes, they may get paid. And then there's the prostitute who is just getting you off as fast as you can, or the man who's the escort who's just doing you, but their heart's not there, their soul is not there, and it becomes evil, becomes dark, it becomes abusive emotionally in every way. So a friend with benefit, there's a vetting, there's a kind of a, do I want this person as a friend? I mean, friend, first and foremost.
Yeah.
You know, and is there a quality about that man or that woman that attracts me, and we have a likeness of mind and a likeness of spirit and an energy, and then there's a natural attraction of the physical, of where we want to take this friendship into a physical expression. It may not stay there.
Right.
But we definitely, the beauty and the gift that you've said of experiencing the physical of that can bring about a tremendous growth if good agreements and if the communication is proper. And it's spending time with each other, not just the bedroom, not just the front room, not just the backseat of the car.
So what do we think are some of those questions to ask, so that we like...
You mean to ask a man?
To
ask ourselves.
To properly set that up. So like, you know, I don't feel like men feel like women are going to take it too far, and like maybe there's just I just run into people with like the biggest egos, where they just think like, if I start being nice and I start being myself, that like I'm falling for them. And I'm like,
communication. The first thing I would say is, might just share something about myself. I have a very big heart. I absolutely am capable of unconditional loving, but that does not mean I am falling in love with you. I mean, just to be open and honest. And I know when my heart opens, and I would say, I am actually giving you a piece of my heart. And if it's a sexual relationship, it's like I'm actually sharing my sacred space, my womb space with you. And this is a very sacred, very special thing that I don't give to anyone else because you're a special friend. So how honest you're willing to be with, because as a woman, for me to open my body and to invite a man into me is, they have to meet me at high level. They need to meet me, with respect and dignity and that depth of soul and that honoring. And I need to feel protected by them. If I don't feel protected by a man, excuse me,
And if you can't. If there's not a true friendship, a genuine,
yes.
Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah, they really care.
Yeah, yes, that part's huge. But I just started, I've never got onto the dating apps before. And it's like, I'm only looking for friends with benefits. But it comes off so aggressive as I'm really not looking for a friend. I'm really just looking for benefits. And I'm perplexed on why people are why they have to even add the friend part if that's not really what you want. It's as if you don't know what friend means.
So let's separate that, okay? If you want a fuck buddy, I differentiate. There's a fuck buddy, and that's a person you like. They're a good person. You trust them. They have integrity. They're not, they are responsible for their life, and they're honest with you. And you're saying, look, right now I have a high sex drive, and I am looking to have maybe 2 or 3 fuck buddies, and their condoms need to be worn, and we need to be tested because I need to be sure you're not carrying anything to me that came from somebody else. And I would just like to get together, maybe. Well, since there'll be 3 of them, I would like to get together maybe once a week, So that's 3 times a week with a different partner. That could be a man or a woman. If you're bisexual or ambisexual, which means you prefer same sex, but occasional opposite sex, ambi. But if same sex comes along, it's you're fine with it. But you're basically heterosexual. So if you have 3 different partners, because you are going through a phase where you know that when you have that intensity of connection, it feeds you, it energizes you, it lifts you, and now boom, you're out there accomplishing your life. So it's the gasoline in the engine, and you don't want the complication of establishing a friendship which potentially can move into a full-time lover. They're still a friend. That's the thing. They are still, because you have good communication, and they're a person that you would not be with if they actually weren't capable of being a friend, and even at some point maybe even being a husband or a long-time lover. So don't get hooked up on, that I'm just looking mainly for the benefits. You're looking mainly for the benefits with the right friend.
I love that we just differentiated both of those 2 sides, and hopefully we've made that clear for a lot of people on how to speak their truth in that. As far as what you're really...
You have to know your truth.
You have to know what it is.
Speak it.
Which is so true. Which is so true. I love that. This was good.
So I wonder, for the men listening to this, I know you've attended the spiritual sexuality workshop, if I may speak that for you.
Yes, you may.
Okay, the Quidoshka.
So
I'm a teacher of the Quidoshka spiritual sexuality, sacred knowledge, and so we have a maturity. Even though our ages are different, we have a maturity, and I don't deal with jealousy. I don't deal with possessiveness, and there's a maturity that we are speaking that most people have not acquired. They may be in the process of acquiring it, because as a counselor, I work with a lot of people who are in an open lifestyle, and it becomes jaded. They are hurt. They're not honoring their primary relationship. They don't ask permission. They're just a bull in a china shop, and I'm talking about women as well as men. Like, just because that does not mean, so setting boundaries no matter where you are. If you're in a, more traditional relationship or more open, to have a friend with benefits, there's still boundaries, there's still communication, there's still agreements, and there's honesty. There has to be honesty, because without honesty, nothing works.
Yeah.
Nothing works in life.
And I think it's like opening up that honesty. Like, even if you do start getting more, like if you start to get the feels, because that can happen. And it's dangerous just saying, I'm getting these and I have to cut this off because of this. But like, that's so honoring the other person and what those original agreements were.
Or
and like,
you don't have to cut it off.
If you take a piece out.
Right. If you speak about it.
Change the agreements.
If you speak about it, you can say, I'm needing to take a break. I'm needing to speak this, and is this what unconditional love is? That I actually can love unconditionally and it doesn't compromise me or you? Because most people don't even embrace unconditional loving. It's conditional loving.
Yes.
Which.
Yeah. I would add that, that you spoke to, there's a maturity, and then there's people who are not quite there yet. There are
most people are not there
people
yet.
Who are trying. I often know that people or notice that people enter into these relationships because they're actually looking to transform something. And what I'm hearing, transform something that
in
they're
themselves?
dealing, in themselves.
Okay.
Right. And what I'm hearing in your guys' sharing is like there's an actual opportunity for priestess, right? In a relationship like this, which is we're going to enter into this relationship, and I'm looking to like mature myself in this area. Can you reflect back to me how I can do that? And what a great teacher-student moment that could be.
Especially when you agree that you both give each other reflections.
Yes.
And you are here kind of, I call that a medicine relationship where you're both growing. You're evolving. It's not about getting married. It's not about having children. It's about using the sexual energy, which is a catalyst, very powerful, to discover the unknown.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, that was
I love
beautiful.
That. Oh, this was, I hope it was good for everybody as it was for me. That was wonderful.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Yeah, so for those of you watching, we hope that what we share, touches you, that you learn something from it, and share it with others. We are going to be going live on Instagram. We're on a learning curve, but we're still going to be producing these and putting them on YouTube. And so share with us, share with others. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you.